Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back.
We're back.
We're
Back, back,
back.
back, back, back.
Back. We've
Back
been
from
gone a
the
while.
dead.
We've been gone a little while, but we're back. It's me. It's Brian. It's Freddie. I don't know what I was about to say there. It's my Freddie. And we're bringing this podcast back. We honestly didn't mean for it to go away. However, it was Christmas and whatever. There were so many things happening at that point, and we were like kind of so far behind. We kind of made the decision to rehash this, bring it back, do some things differently. As you can see with like some of the way the graphics look in here too, just upgrade it. We got to upgrade it. And then we were like, you know what? It's January. Let's start. And this was January 1. And then Freddie got the Rona. And then so we
Oh
postponed.
man, that Rona. I survived 4 years of not getting the Rona, and then it just came in with vengeance and just kicked my ass. It was
Well,
so
you're
bad.
looking good now, dude. You look like you're
I feel
alive.
great. Yeah, I lost weight. Thanks for the Rona. I
Yeah, you got
lost some.
a little COVID weight droppage.
Yeah. My taste buds are still kind of all over the place.
Are you still taking the antiviral though?
Oh no, I stopped. That stuff was so bad, dude.
Oh yeah.
The metallic taste is the. I think it ruined my tongue. I couldn't taste coffee. I had to like burn
It's like
coffee to
coffee's
taste it.
all I have, and they took it from me.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's a lot has happened since
It has.
uh, the last time we did a podcast. So
Yeah, and these are still going to follow the same kind of format. Nothing too much crazy is changing here. A lot of it's still just going to be like we'll kick off with the intro, let you guys know what we're doing, and then we'll have the dad advice. We'll talk about one game. We'll probably always have like a game of the month or game that we're playing, and then cover industry wide to entertainment. Because I realize like when I'm hanging out with Freddie, we just don't discuss video games, and I don't think the podcast should just be on video games either. It's also called like the OGs, the opinionated gamers, which means we have opinions on everything and not just video
everything.
games.
True that. I have
So
opinions about everything, man.
yeah, and you guys are gonna get to hear all of the opinions. I guess I should say gals too, because there are guys and gals. Either way, and
And
yeah,
then and now the all the others.
yes, and then everything in between. So
Just
yeah,
like,
well, I'm happy. I'm happy to do this again. This should be weekly, every Friday. Still, all the same stuff as usual. We're back. We're back at it. Hopefully, we won't miss
we're
any time
back.
here.
Yeah,
And it's
man. I
good to
mean,
be
so
back.
I'm so like obviously breaking news today. I mean, we're a day behind. But Microsoft they did 1,900
Yes, I
layoffs
saw
today,
that.
and
So
some
we will
big names.
cover that. We're going to cover the Microsoft, what was it called? Developer Insight that just happened. I'll probably drop some stuff on Suicide Squad. That's the game I'm looking forward to, and more. So make sure you guys
Sure.
like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Subscribe, and I think you can like as well if you're on Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is, wherever you are
It's
and wherever you're
5
listening.
stars
5
everywhere.
stars, yes. Just enjoy it. Sit back, relax, get ready. We will be right back. This is the hot new intro. I think I'm talking over it. I love that. That thing is cool, especially if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed the really weird staticky electric sound that just played in your eardrums.
Fun.
Freddie
It's
has no
good.
idea what that was. But yeah, so that's kind of the new intro. It kind of screwed up there for anybody who's watching on YouTube. If you're not and you were listening, you probably heard some weird audio sounds. I'll get it sorted. But in general, that's the new open. It's pretty dope. And now we have me and Freddie right here on screen and in your eardrums. And
All up in your ears.
yeah, I like it. It's cool. There's gonna be like some weird things along the way because I got to figure it out. I run this all actually through like an OBS system, like as if we're live streaming.
Nobody cares. Just
I
let's
know.
talk about things they care about, Brian.
I know. Fine,
Good
fine,
Lord.
fine.
Okay.
Well, then we always start this off because we're both dads now, and we can share our insights of all things fatherhoods. So, how is it having COVID with a baby?
It was first off, a shout out to my mom and dad because they came in and boss style. They came with gloves, masks, and all the sprays.
Hazmat suits.
Yeah, I mean, for people who don't know, I'm Middle Eastern, so my mom is extra clean. So she came and like sprayed all the couches and like Clorox everything. It was me, baby, and wife,
Yeah,
completely
out.
COVID straight up. Yeah, it was weird. It was awful. My daughter actually had something called a fibrosis seizure. Basically, a seizure caused by having a
Yeah, that
very high
sounds
fever.
like incredibly
It
terrifying.
it was. We were in bed. EMS came. It was awful. But everything. She's fantastic. She just got her third tooth
Oh,
already.
hey, which one?
Yeah, she got the two top ones and then one
Oh,
bottom.
the
Yeah.
adorableness.
And then we got to hang out a couple
Yep.
weeks ago. We live pretty close together, but we're just so busy. We really don't get to see each other, so
Yeah,
or the family. So we did that, and it was a lot of
that was
fun.
fun. Yeah, we went to Treaty Oak, had hung out.
Yeah,
My daughter's just
some
still
drinks, some
obsessed with
food.
dinosaurs. Not much has changed. Still have all the toys behind me. I have a 5-year-old and 2-year-old still. Um, you know,
Yeah, I got her that set of like a billion
a billion
dinosaurs,
dinosaurs. Yeah,
and
she's in the
she's just
age of all questions. So, what is what is death? Oh my god.
it's when you play a video game and then you run out
Yes.
of life.
Then you run out of lives and you don't get to respawn. Yeah, I can feel you on the sickness. I think I had told you actually before your daughter got COVID. I was making fun of you because you were like, I'm gonna avoid putting her ever in daycare because we're gonna avoid the sicknesses. It's like you jinxed yourself, and I was like, you can't avoid it.
So
It's like it just comes with the territory.
I was ready to like just call it. I'm like, you know what? I had a good
You know
life.
what?
Let's
I
just.
give up. I'm done.
It was so
uh,
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sickness it's with kids is awful. It's awful, and it takes the whole house out. And then it's even worse too because like it puts you against your wife, where you're either not on the same level of sickness, or they're sick and
Um.
you're not, or they're sick and you're sick and they're not, and you just loathe each other. You're just like, I see you over there. I
So
see
she's
you.
not around, but
I
she
expect you
got
to
the
do
same.
everything. You should be cooking my pizza or something.
She got the same COVID, but all she had was a little itchy throat, and I was so mad at her. I'm like, I feel like death. My body hurts so bad. She's like, yeah, my throat really hurts too, and I'm like,
It's not the same.
we're not the same. It's so
It's
bad.
true,
Anyway,
dude.
so
It's just
yeah.
funny. Like whenever Stacy like would get real sick when she got sick, and and I'm watching the kids, I'm like looking at her like, you need to get better now. You don't even want to, but it just comes with it, man. Kids make everything
Yeah, man.
so
I
weird.
couldn't eat. I couldn't eat because I just didn't have any appetite, and she's like eating kolaches next to me, and I'm like, I
You're
will
just like, I'm
destroy
gonna
you.
stab you.
But yeah,
All
no,
right.
it was. What about you? What about your kiddo advice? Your kids
That's
are a little
it. I
older,
don't
obviously.
have. I mean, my adventures are just literally all questions now. She's playing a Paw Patrol game she got for Christmas. It's actually pretty fun. It's really easy. It's just like 3 buttons. And Sienna she's got 16 teeth and about to get her 2-year-old molars. So
Oh,
that's been a blast. And yeah, she didn't really ask questions. Summer doesn't ask questions about games anymore. She's so used to it now. And now, like, either we watch a movie together or I just put on, some Disney movie for the 15,000th time and then go play like Pal Worlds. Which I was trying to play Pal Worlds with Summer because she likes Pokemon, and then she was asking me where Matt or Mace, I don't even know, the main character of Pokemon. She's like, where is he? He's like, I don't know, he's not in this game. It's Pal Worlds. It's
Ash,
not
Ash,
Ash.
Ash.
Yes, Ash. I was like, Ash isn't in this. It's Pal Worlds. And then she was like, well, where's Pikachu? And I was like, I was like, okay, I know I told you I was playing Pokemon, but I'm playing something called Power World. And then she was just like, well, this is stupid. I want to watch Pokemon. So that was the end of that. It
Uh,
lasted all of like 10 minutes.
yeah, it's your fault. You
I
brought up
know.
Pokemon, and Pikachu is literally Pokemon.
I know.
Pikachu
Which
and
is like
Ash.
a good segue into video games too, actually, because I wasn't even thinking about talking about this. But I mean, Power Worlds is actually that's pretty crazy. And now supposedly Pokemon actually just came out too. I should pull the tweet up. I won't be able to find it. essentially saying they're going to review Pal World, but really what it
Yeah.
read like is them being like, please stop emailing us to sue Pal World. We don't have a case.
Yeah, well, I have to remember, so, like, people think Nintendo actually owns Pokemon, they don't. They have a partnership with Pokemon. Pokemon, its own entity.
Right.
So they
Well,
don't
and
I
it's
mean,
also like the creative licensing there, it would be really hard to sue because it's not a one to one. It's an inspiration, in which Pokemon is like supposedly an inspiration on a couple of other things. Like it's all just
yeah.
inspired by something.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, I think if you wanted to take them to court, you can take them to court for likeness because the color schemes are very
Well, yeah,
similar, the
right.
animation is similar, but the game is I mean, there's no Pokemon game even close to what this is.
Well, yeah,
Outside
right.
of outside of there's a 1 or 2 mechanics, right? The throwing the Pokeballs to catch
Yeah, the
the
Pal balls and you catch them. Yeah.
Almost, right. So that's really it. But talk about a phenomenon. Talk
Oh, I know.
about good for Microsoft to jump on this thing early. I mean, it's apparently it's a console seller,
Oh,
especially
dude,
overseas.
it's yeah, it's done really well, like really well. I mean, somebody posted something about numbers and it was astronomical. And then on Steam, it's sitting at like 2 million. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. So
And it's just for a preview too, not a live game. I mean, it's a
I
live
played it.
game, but you know what I mean. Like it's
It's well, yeah, it's a preview game. They made 20 million, what, $200 million
200
already
million. Yeah.
off of a preview. And then the crazy part was just like reading on X what people were saying. Some really envious devs were like, this seems like this game was made by AI.
Yes,
And
I saw the AI thing, and I don't understand that.
they're like, well, this doesn't seem like a real game. This
Huh?
seems like somebody told Chat GPT to build a
ChatGPT.
game similar to Pokemon, but add guns and slavery,
Like a
right? So like,
Valheim. Yeah.
yeah.
It is a
So
survival game, though. I mean, it literally is like a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like survival with Pokemon, with guns, with like all sorts of crap, base
well,
building,
yeah, so for me, like, first off,
slavery.
first of all, I saw it a couple weeks ago and I was just like, "What is this game?" So I gave it, I wasn't hyped about it and anything. It was like, okay, well, I'll try this out. And I ended up playing a couple hours worth. So I mean,
Oh yeah, I
I
got a
haven't really,
shared server with Tane, with our buddy. Like, it's a chill game. I mean, we've got like a whole
yeah.
base. Like, we're like level 30. We got. I mean, I got pal slaves everywhere.
Well, the fact that you can make a factory where they build you like
Yeah,
AR-15
yeah.
is just like insane. It's a cool
You
game
have
though.
one
It's
that just
awesome.
like breathed that this literally keeps your stuff cool. I'm like, yeah, stay on this fridge and keep blowing air on it. You can't take a lunch break. Get out of here.
Oh, here, I'm gonna feed you. Oh, you're a lamb? Here, I'm gonna feed you some lamb
I'm gonna feed
chops.
you some lamb chops.
You are a
Uh,
cannibal now.
yeah, I
I
mean,
thought I mean,
it's an interesting phenomenon. And then at the same time, I think it actually might have just gotten pulled off of the top spot, uh, like for like a day, because Enshrouded came out yesterday, another game preview, which is another survival game, which just that seems to be like the new like live service hit of a decade ago is now like the survival hit. Like there's all these games coming out now that are just doing really well that are all based around this core concept of start butt naked, cut trees, build clothes, build house, and then like you go out into the world, fight bosses or whatever, and you have this sort of RPG mechanics built around this sort of like base building crafting game.
I think it's one of those the fads similar to like the
Oh,
live service stuff.
it is for
And
sure.
it and anybody coming out like I just read Microsoft just canceled a Blizzard survival game because it's the writing's on the wall. Like
Yeah,
people are not going to continue.
5 years from
And so
now, you're not
yeah,
gonna be like, woo! I can't wait to do this again.
I think the reason Pal World does well is because the pacing, right? We talked about pacing
Yeah,
before.
yeah. The pacing of it's
Pacing
great.
is really good because you can start off with nothing and then boom, within a couple of minutes you can cut
Right.
wood, go do X, Y, and Z, and then catch your first
Well, it's the
pal.
wrinkle inside of it, right? Like Enshrouded's doing good because it's got actual RPG elements on
Right.
top of
You can
it.
have
So it's
you
like,
have to build around. You can have the
yeah,
structure of like a survival game, but then you have to add in things that are new and exciting, right?
yeah.
We talked about live service, right? Like live service, why we think that the Justice League game, or not the Justice League,
Oh yeah, let me pull that
the
up.
Suicide Squad
I'm gonna be running
is
over
gonna
here
do
for you.
well is because obviously like they're changing. It is a live service game, but they're giving you 15 to 20 hours of actual linear gameplay, and then also adding live service elements
Right.
without the having the score or having that absolute nonsense of FOMO to make you come back.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we talked about this a couple days ago, how they'll let you play older seasons and get the gear from older seasons without having to feel bad about missing out. We talked about
Yes.
Diablo and how Diablo season by season you lose those. You lose the vampire. It's not
You lose the season. The season's gone. Like once the season's over, whatever was happening in the season that that made the season like it's like gameplay element is gone from the game.
right, and that's
Maybe brought back in a gear piece later, but like the general gameplay loop leaves.
well, and that's I mean that's same to like what the Destiny did a long time ago, and then
Yeah,
they keep
yeah, they still do it, like right. I mean, sort of in a way, but it's not as bad. But yeah, Destiny still does that too. Yeah, that's what I'm
well
being. Yeah, that's why I'm really
happen.
excited for Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think it has the most potential to be a successful the second iteration of live service where it's not this mad rush to get the gun so that way you have an advantage in whatever case. It's
Yeah.
the mad dash to beat your friends or have the higher score or get to the second story. Every season is a new story. And we talked about how DC has a plethora of fantastic stories, specifically for the non-meta humans, right?
Right.
And especially the players that are or the characters that are, um, characters that are not necessarily heroes, right? The
Well,
Joker's
and
definitely not a hero,
not the biggest either, right? Not.
right?
That's
Yeah,
what's running right
exactly.
now. So there's like recently this Insider just came out, Insider 3, and that's what I've got playing. And yeah, and this is the one that showed off like Elseworlds and the ability that you're not going to miss out on seasons. And I mean, you say I get excited about everything, but I try not to.
You
I
get
really do.
so he watches like for me, I
I
look at a game.
consume
I'm
it
okay.
all. I do consume it
Game
all.
is you do, and I'm like, if I'm gonna same thing with movies. If I'm gonna buy this game regardless, or I watch a movie regardless, I am watching one trailer or play the beta or the alpha, and then boom, I'm done. I'm gonna get the game. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
This
Well,
guy,
in
this
my
guy goes
defense, I was not a
watches
fan of this game
every
though.
game.
No, okay, in my defense, remember, I wasn't a fan of this.
Yes, yes, but you go so far. You go from
I
one side of
in this
hating the
one and this
game.
one and this one I had to though. Like if you remember, like what a month ago, I
There,
was like, I
there
can't
is
believe Rocksteady's making a looter shooter. That's third person on top of that. I was like, like I was actually didn't even dive into this game until I played the alpha. And then I was like, oh, that was
yes.
actually really fun.
Right, and I don't disagree with you, that notion of it, cool, we're gonna like it, we're gonna talk about it, but now all you talk about is this game, and
Well,
I
just
get
because
it.
I went from like I don't think this is gonna be good to like wow, they actually are doing like because every single turn, every single video, I was like, okay, yeah, the alpha is actually really good. Okay, the gameplay loop could be really cool, and Rocksteady's known for their campaigns, so I bet that'll be good.
Yeah,
That'll be fun. It'll be worth playing. I'll check out this next Insider video, whatever. And then the next Insider video comes out, and I'm like, oh my god, like, are they actually going to get? Because for me, as a post Avengers guy and a Destiny guy whose Destiny's fallen off, Avengers died. Like I don't really have a live service game right now. Like Diablo is the only one I play, and I like season 2, but I don't like season 3. So I was like, I mean, I was so on the fence about like, well, what's going to happen post game? How are they even going to do this? How is this even going to work? Like this, like how I fundamentally didn't understand how this was going to work. And then every time I watched
but
the video, I was like, holy crap! And they answered every single question and issue that I had.
when did you buy the deluxe version of the game?
Oh, well, I bought the deluxe version after the alpha because I like the alpha
O
a lot.
okay, so that was it. That you should have shut up after buying
I
if you
couldn't
already
though.
bought
I was really curious about like
if
what happens next.
you bought the deluxe already, you already are gonna get everything that you do
Yeah.
know or don't know, you're already gonna get. So there's no point of just
Well,
going
I needed to
anyways.
know. I needed to
Okay,
know.
anyway,
I needed to know about
that's
how
that's
like how are you going to do live service and do it right? And it we don't know if it's going to play out that way or not. But on paper and through
Sure.
their developer insider videos, I'm impressed.
The way I look at it is if it gives me 15 hours of just story, I'm happy with
Oh
70
yeah,
bucks.
see, that's how you look at it. I wanted to know, like, can I play this game for the year? That was my next question.
Right. So like, but my thing is tiered, right? So like, for example, I get to play like that's why I really loved Outriders, right? First off,
Yeah,
Outriders
yeah, that
was
was good.
free. Thanks for Xbox Game Pass,
A
but it
Game
was free.
Pass, but I
And
still
then
would
when
have
they're
bought it
play
if even if it wasn't.
same, exactly. Well, that's not true. You don't know about it. It's hard for these new games to just show up
That's
and be
actually,
like,
you know what? You're probably right. I probably would never even heard about it because that was super. They didn't have like a huge marketing push.
People Can Fly wasn't a big publisher, right?
Right.
Or a developer. But anyway, so like that game had a good story, not great. Graphics were okay, but the loop afterwards was good. It was really
Yeah, but it
fun.
wasn't live service.
It had live service elements.
It
You got
did,
to
but it
play with your
wasn't live
friend.
service. It only had one DLC.
I think they didn't. I think first off, you know exactly who you blame. Square Enix is a trash publisher.
Oh no,
Period. I'm
I know who
sorry.
to blame here, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like they weren't set up like in that vein.
it had the elements that I liked though. It had the elements of like this could have easily been a live service game and run its that they had a good idea of how
Right.
the loop should have been,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And it
see, the
was
difference between me and you is you're fine with waiting to play Suicide Squad to see if you get that. I wanted to know. I was like, I want to know if this gonna fill that thing, and then I got more excited
you already bought the
because
game. Like then
now
what
I'm
is
like, I think they did it. I mean, look at all this stuff they're showing too. It's incredible. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous.
look, great, but you bought the game already.
You know
You
what?
bought the game.
I will come over to your house and punch you in the face.
Anyways, let's move on.
Fine. We'll move on. What do you want
Okay,
to hit up?
well, let's just talk about current events, and it can go back to the developer
Fine.
deal. Obviously, Microsoft, after the acquisition of Blizzard, Activision, 1,900 employees
Oh
have been let
yes,
go.
let go, and the president of Blizzard's gone.
Yeah, President. I mean, I saw that writing on the wall.
Well,
They
yeah,
were,
right. Everybody did.
yeah, Microsoft's basically revamping the whole studio structure. But I mean, I looked at a lot of the people that got let go were community managers
Yeah.
for different stuff. And I think those jobs are not necessarily developer jobs, right? Those are,
Well, I'm sure
you
they
know,
lost some developers.
yeah, but again, like these layoffs, a lot of times they're QA, right? And they're community managers, and then some like high level folks that are being replaced, or
Yeah.
have their golden
Or I
parachute that
can
they
probably
leave.
pull it
But
up too. What you're talking about.
yeah, but still, 1,900 is a significant amount of people, and our hearts go out to them. I'm sure they'll find new jobs. There's a lot of developers hiring.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of developers hiring within Microsoft. It's just I think Blizzard, Activision, obviously with an almost $70 billion
So
transaction, there's going to be layoffs.
Phil, oh wow, I am like bright white.
Yeah,
Phil said it's been a little over 3 months since the Activision Blizzard and King. What the heck is King? I don't know what King is.
King is Kangani Crush.
Oh, okay. Teams joined Microsoft. As we move forward in 2024, the leadership of Microsoft Gaming and Activision Blizzard is committed to aligning on a strategy and an execution plan with a sustainable cost structure that will support the whole of our growing business. Together, we've set priorities, identified areas of overlap, and ensured that we are aligned on the best opportunities for growth. As a part of this process, we have made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce by approximately 1,900 roles out of the 22,000 people on our team. So there's 22,000 people, essentially, I think that they just inherited, and 1,900 that got laid off. The gaming leadership team and I are committed to navigating this process as thoughtfully as possible. The people who are directly impacted by these reductions have all played an important part in the success of Activision Blizzard, ZeniMax, and the Xbox teams, and they should be proud of everything they've accomplished. And, blah, 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 blah. He goes on and then ends it by saying, looking ahead, we'll continue to invest in areas that will grow our business and support our strategy of bringing more games to more players around the world. Although this is a difficult moment in our team, I'm confident. Typical nice things to say. I wasn't terribly surprised by this. There have been a lot of layoffs lately, and I don't think I haven't seen enough articles. I need to whatever. I'll just be bright white. I haven't seen enough articles on the fact that I think I talked to you about this. I think some of this is tied to COVID. I mean, like when we were in COVID and everybody worked from home, there was a giant increase in infrastructure and, like you were saying, Q&A and at-home devs to kind of like carry forward these games for 2 years and figure out this whole work from home thing. And now that we're kind of, we're clearly back in the swing of things. We had a record year in terms of video games and the quality of those games. And I think now they're just sitting there like we don't need all these people anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, you over. I mean, it's the same thing with, how the stock for Amazon went through the roof during COVID and it went down. It's like, well, yeah, you had a massive demand for stuff, and then it teetered off. And same thing with development, right? You were so behind the eight ball because of this transition of work from office work to home that you needed to add X amount of people to make sure you still at least have the quality. Microsoft has several misses, obviously, with quality, but
Well, yeah.
the quality of work is, on par. And so across the entire industry, we've seen layoffs, especially when it comes to QA, the community managers, etc. I still think there's gonna. I mean, if you go look, Microsoft has like 15,000 open positions specifically for, dev positions, developer positions, and a lot of these are not developer positions. Microsoft needs all the developers under the sun to get what they're trying to do for
Right.
AAA games a year, every year for the duration. So not super surprised. Think it's going to be standard. I'm sure all these folks, they'll find their a role somewhere else. But still
Yeah.
feel bad.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Um,
before that happened, they did drop that developer insight. So
that's true.
I'll run this right now. This is, I think, the first thing we can talk about. I'm gonna play in the background here. This is the trailer they released for the Indiana Jones game. So this grew
Yes,
on
and
me. Okay, before you start
oh, he
talking,
did? Okay,
I
all right.
immediately hit Freddie up when this was over, and I was like, something about the game just didn't sit with
You
me.
hated no, 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 don't underplay.
I didn't
You I
hate. I
hate
said I wasn't a
this
fan.
game
I
looks
wasn't a fan. I
this
didn't think it
game
looked
looks
good.
terrible.
But
Okay.
there were two reasons, and a lot of
Mhm.
people ended up agreeing with those reasons. One was the first person aspect of it, and an Indiana Jones game didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, I was very unexpected for me. And then the second one, the second one was just me, and that was like I also didn't expect them to do a for whatever. I didn't know anything about this game, so I didn't expect to see Harrison Ford and not hear Harrison Ford, and then have it be canon. But once I settled in on all of that and rewatched the trailer a couple of times, I mean it could be good. It clearly might be a very good narrative game. We'll see what they do here. I still think the first person aspect of an Indiana Jones game is really weird because
I so
I mean we're
so
just
I
used to third person, right, between Tomb Raider and Uncharted.
well, I think that's so I was reading a lot of comments specifically on, like, this I mentioned it looked very much like in the same vein as Uncharted and Tomb Raider, except the difference really is that they went with a different direction, right?
Oh
Third
yeah,
person
right.
is every single type of game like this is always in third person. So making it first person changes the experience. And I think obviously it's a little off-putting at the beginning because it is different. But at the end of the day, it may actually work out. It may be more immersive
It could
because
be
you are
right. Yeah.
playing, and then it cuts to the third person when it's doing the narrative story.
Right. Or when you're
Um,
on, when you're doing like I think some of the traversing and stuff,
Climbing,
climbing, it'll pull back. And
right,
it's Troy Baker too. So that's who's doing the voice, which is,
right.
he's an incredibly talented guy.
Most people didn't even know it wasn't Harrison Ford. Honestly, like I was
I
reading the
knew the
comments.
moment he started talking. I was like, that's not
Well, yeah,
Harrison Ford.
well, because obviously, like now, Harrison Ford now sounds like the
80-year
angry
old man.
grandpa. Yeah, on the lawn. Get off my lawn! I knew there's no way he would do the voice. Sitting down and doing voiceover for a video game for
Yeah.
60 hours,
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
not
happen.
gonna happen. No. I still think
So,
it's weird that this is canon. I don't think that was needed. I think it was very unnecessary to put this in between the second and third movies, but whatever.
I mean, it
That's
gives
an easy thing to get over, but it's just like
well,
it's just weird.
well, well, it gives them a plot, a story plot, and it might be something that Disney was like, "Hey, we want this to happen this
Yeah, I
way."
mean, yeah. I mean,
So,
clearly, I mean, it's Lucas Arts, so I mean, like they could have been like, yeah, dude, This is what we're doing here. I'm gonna pull up the date too, and then this is the big thing too that came out of it, right? 2024. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
Game Pass, day one
it was
Game
insane.
Pass, and it comes out
And
this year. So
it's crazy. First, that is to me, that is the craziest part is it's coming out this year, which means because they only showed the preview, what, 2 years ago,
yeah,
right? Like not even a preview. They just showed like, hey,
no,
we're making Indiana
it's
Jones.
just yeah, it's happening. This was the first like real look at it.
Yeah, and then the other side that we forgot to before all this, the other game that I thought was out of the blue and a weird studio to choose to do a game like that is Blade. We
Oh,
never talked
Blade.
about Blade,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but Blade, another IP, and what's what the studio is
It's the studio. It's Arcane,
Arcane France, right?
right? The ones who did
Um,
Deathloop.
yes. So those are two games, new
I just don't
IPs.
talk about that one because that is so far off. That game's like 26.
But the thing is, you don't know that. That's the thing. If Indiana Jones was done and they talked about it, this had this had a bigger preview. Blade did than Indiana Jones,
I know,
and
but like
Indiana
the
Jones.
developer himself just hit Twitter and was like, "Don't expect to hear from us now for a really long time. We're development is starting." Like, so it just was. It just seems like that one was far off, but who knows? I could be. It could be 25, but that I don't think so. I don't think we see Blade again until like end of 2025.
Oh, wait, I'm giving it 2 years for sure, right?
Oh,
Because that
yeah.
was the end. Was that the end of 2023?
Yeah, it was at the end of 23 that we saw it.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
and
yeah, I mean, like, I am cautiously optimistic on
and
how
then, and
Indiana
then
Jones will go.
Hellblade is coming out this year too.
Yes, Hellblade is
Um,
going to drop this year too.
and then what was the third one? There's
Oh,
three games, right?
I'll play the third one. Yeah. So the third one. Well, before we jump over though, I do want to say too. So if you didn't already know too, the people making Indiana Jones is Machine
Oh,
Games, and Machine
yeah,
Games is
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein. That was like their bread and butter, which is also explains why it's in first person. And when you go back through and you watch some of this gameplay, you can kind of like see a lot of stuff in here that feels like Wolfenstein. And I also thought that was kind of funny too that they picked that dev since Wolfenstein's all like Wolfenstein's games are literally you killing Nazis. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very fitting. Like, hey, do you
yeah,
guys know how to
super
kill
fitting.
Nazis? Yes.
So that's exciting. It's going to be called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. But then the other game is this bad boy here, which a lot of people have gone back and forth on because of how different it is than the original gameplay release, and that's Avowed, which we have both also been like, I don't know about Avowed. Okay, Avowed looks cool. Well, I don't know about Avowed. Okay, maybe Avowed will be cool. And I still kind of sit there. I'm still like sitting in that space. I can't decide like how good or bad it's going to be yet.
So it's okay. So watching the old trailer from the original reveal of gameplay
It's still
to
so
this
good.
one, well, no, not the original one, not the like the
The
CGI
crazy
one.
one. Well, so the thing is, I rewatched the CGI one, and the problem, I think, why people are the way they are, is because remember in the CGI one, you pick up the sword, and then it gave it this look like, oh, this is gameplay,
Yeah, exactly.
and
And it
but
wasn't. It was
and
CGI.
even
But
thematically, it doesn't even line up.
no, it's not. They made it first off. The trailer, the teaser trailer made it look like it was like this, like
Dark
you know,
fantasy, like yeah,
not even just dark fantasy, like the fact that like it looked like it was built on Unreal 6 and it
Unreal
looked the
6, yeah.
lighting and
The
but then
magic like covered your whole hand, and then you cut
yeah,
to this
yeah.
one, it's just a wand, and I was like, that's not at all what you showed.
Well, I really think that this is so looking at the second trailer, the one was like really cartoony. Remember
Yeah.
that one?
Oh, I
I was
do.
like,
I
this
do.
I was like, what the hell? And then you watch this one, it has this one doesn't even look anything like that video either.
No,
That video was
this game's clearly changed a whole bunch.
oh yeah, and I think that by the time it gets released, it's going to have all the. I think they're rushing to get people's eyes on it, but
Yeah.
first off, that developer's a good developer, right?
Yeah,
They have
Obsidian's good.
never Obsidian has always had a very polished game, so I think once it actually releases, once it gets closer, it might be much more polished. I still think that this version of the game is way like when it comes to the look and feel, way better than the trailer they showed a couple
Oh
months
yeah. Oh,
before.
for sure.
That one looked like it was a PS3 game.
And they're
Like,
doing something different with these kind of games too that I mean could be really fun, and that's that like quick, like the focus on the combat and going from like sword shield to wand like instantly, and you don't have to like
yeah,
lock yourself into that, which is something
that's cool.
none of these like sort of games have done before. Usually you're either all in on magic or you can only pick a sword, so it'll be interesting to see like how you can easily swap between these damage sets.
My
The only
biggest thing for
concern I
this
have is
game,
if it's a talking sim, because Obsidian is really big on, like, if you remember like Outer Worlds is a really good game with a hell of a lot of talking. So just, which
yeah,
can, which some people really like, and then some
I
people
mean,
not so much.
Fallout, it's a Fallout format, right? It's the same
Right.
format they did for Vegas, New
Yeah, where
Vegas,
you
whatever.
you
But
don't have a voice, you lock in, and you got that like motion capture happening in front of you, and you choose what you want to say to them.
yeah, hey, at least the characters that you're talking to actually talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fully
Um,
voice acted and everything. So
my biggest thing, my hope for the game is for not to be too big. I hate games that are just too big. I know people blaspheme, but like make it at most 40 hours.
oh yeah,
If you
right. Not some
if
like
you can make it,
200-hour.
yeah, man, no, I don't want to do all that. I want to have a start and middle and finish. I want to be able to play 40 hours of fantastic story and fun and be the fact that I can go shield and wand and sword and shield and wand and
And there's
what two
guns.
shield
Yeah, two
guns
guns.
and and then we don't know what other attributes you might have. Like I think it could be a very cool game. I think that I just I mean, I am also just looking back at the games that are coming out and that are in development. I just don't see how Microsoft has just too many games. It's like the opposite of what it was for the
Well, they have so many
Xbox One.
developers now, right? So
Insane, 30 developers, 30.
yeah.
So so we'll see.
No, it
And the
should
funny
be. I
thing
mean,
is,
that's the four hits for now. So they open January, saying in 24 you'll get the Avowed, Indiana Jones. Uh, then there was
uh,
like
Indiana
there
Jones,
was some
Hellblade.
Hellblade, and then there were two other games I can't remember because I'm not big
Uh,
on Square Enix. It was a Square Enix game and something else.
oh yeah, that Square Enix game, and then also the games that are already pre-slated from a third party is that Flintlock, which I actually saw some gameplay. They
Oh,
have
that one looks fun.
it does look good, and then the other one is that that survival shooting game. What was it called?
Oh yes. No, I was gonna say
Uh,
Tarkov. It's
the
oh
the
crap.
the Ukrainian game.
Yeah, so I can't remember the name of it right now, but that one is slated for September. I know the date,
Yeah,
but I don't know the name. Stalker,
um, Stalker. Yeah, the new
like
Stalker.
Stalker 2 or whatever. So they already are set up for what feels like a really nice 2024 with a wide variety of games too, which is really cool, right? So you got the RPG, like Hellblade is going to be this very cinematic experience, to your survival games all the way to a story base. Like I bet Indiana Jones will probably sit somewhere around 18-20 hours. So
Yeah, I think so, at least. And then I think also you just look at we don't know anything about Blizzard and Activision, what they're doing with the Microsoft ecosystem and
right, yeah.
how they're
And
going to be
Diablo will hit
embedded
Game Pass soon. They haven't put
soon
dates, but
enough. Yeah.
it will come to Game Pass. It's an inevitable. So
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. And then, you never know. Sony still has to, I'm sure at some point it can't be Sony just cannot rely on God of War and Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
well,
I
no,
mean, they
they
need
have stuff
more.
coming. They've been rumored that Ghost of Tsushima 2 will be announced soon. I can
But,
see
but
why they're waiting because it's so similar to that like Rise of the Ronin game that's coming out soon. So that'll probably drop well before we hear about Ghost of Tsushima 2. They've got the new Final Fantasy game coming out that everybody's really hyped about. The Rebirth. And those are just what we know about. They will definitely be on something. Like Naughty Dog is working on something. Like, some guy posted it on his LinkedIn that he was working on the new Naughty Dog game. Uh, so
I honestly think Wolverine is probably from the leaks, the videos and stuff. I think the Wolverine's probably closer to being a 2025,
oh
early
yeah,
2025
I
release.
think Wolverine's probably 25 for sure.
But they need something. I don't really see a nice for 2024 this year. I don't really see a ton of big titles that are going to be console sellers. Not that Sony needs to sell any
Rebirth will
consoles.
be huge. I mean, that's just a big game. The big game, like the first remake of Final Fantasy VII. Like those are just big games for like a certain group of people.
No, I don't disagree, but
But we don't know. They will have something. I have no doubt that there's not a one. There's probably some game coming out this year. Oh, that just ended. Here, I'll play all Hellblade 2 while we keep talking. Enjoy the whatever ad this is. And I think that they will also have what was it? They're probably also looking at whatever money they're going to pull, because like today they just released a trailer for the PC release of Horizon. So that's coming out in March.
I just the problem for me when I look at PC sales for Sony is this 3-year window. The sales are not great, especially when you put, you know, third some third party to port your game over. You know,
Right.
like it's just not a good plan. I think that they're smartening up, and I think they're going to do day and day on PC. I don't think there's a reason not to, especially, and they're already doing it, right? You look at the games that they're creating. Hive Buster, is that what it's called? The one with
Oh yeah, it's supposed to
the
be a big game too. Helldivers. So
Helldivers.
Helldivers 1 was a top-down game. Here, I can pull that up for y'all so y'all can
I
see it.
remember I remember that game.
It was like some
It
sort of. I never played it, but it was like some
it
sort of top-down game, like
it
like a
wasn't
Diablo.
and it wasn't
Uh,
a Sony exclusive either. They
no, and it was
became
like super popular. And then
for
like
what?
for why I guess why people are so excited for this Helldivers 2 is because they now made it third person. Like it's like the biggest change to this whole formula is it's actually a third person game now. But
It was
this
cross-platform too.
and it's
I
cross
don't know.
platform.
I think it's just PC and PlayStation, but I
It's
don't
just
know.
PC and PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, honestly, they should
Which
just
feels like Starship Troopers, to be honest. I'm looking at it again and it's so Starship Troopers-y. It's like
100%. They should have just called it that. I don't know why they made this
like
game
Pal World is the
looks
Pokemon. This game is the Starship Troopers.
100%. And then obviously they have Marathon, which is also, I think that one's truly cross-platform. Again,
Yeah, I don't think that'll be
Xbox.
so.
I don't know about that. And then that's really all I know when it comes to what's coming
They
out
bought in
of
on
next year.
Suicide Squad, but I mean that's not their
Yeah,
exclusives are some cosmetics. It's nothing crazy.
I mean, it made you buy it on PlayStation. I mean, I still bought it on Xbox. I like the
Well,
controller
so I
better,
bought
but
it on PlayStation just because usually when I see that kind of crap, I'm just like, and then you watch like the Insight videos and they're all playing with PlayStation 5 controllers. So I'm just like, this is probably going to play the best on the PlayStation because it feels like that's where they did all their dev work, you know? So that's what
I mean,
made me do it.
yeah. I mean, I played the alpha
So
on the
yes, you're
Xbox.
right. The perception that somebody paid for to be like use a PlayStation controller on all these videos, it worked on me. I was like, oh man, they're using a PlayStation 5 controller, and like I guess I got to buy it on PlayStation. And so I did.
Yeah, but you probably know they're not playing on PlayStation, right? It's probably playing
Oh,
on
I
PC.
know they're playing it on PC. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
visually,
mean,
I can't look at it and be like, oh, clearly they're this game is made for PlayStation.
yeah. So I mean, I truly think Sony needs to. They either need to buy more studios. That's or they need to have. I think they
Yeah.
waste so much money on those live service games at this point, and now they're trying to figure out how. There, I guarantee you, there's a scramble at Sony right now
Oh,
when
I'm
it
sure
comes to
there is.
games.
Whenever
There's not.
they lost the Activision lawsuit, I'm sure there is because they can't compete with Game Pass in the long run. Like 5 years from now, this is what I've talked to you about. Like short term, they're probably still going to own the market in consoles
100%. Yeah.
because they just have the games. But long term, like they're like at least when you're looking at it right now, it doesn't look like it. I'm like, I haven't even beat Spider-Man 2. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but
Right. It's
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get around to it. Like it's
but they just haven't. So the reason I have both consoles. I love video games. I play most of my games on PC anyway. The variety of games
yeah, the
on
variety.
Xbox is just enormous. And I think that what I'm getting sick or tired of, and they're not bad games by no means. They're just making remakes of
Yeah,
remakes of remakes. I get it. It prints money, but like at some point you have to come up with something new, right? You can't make the same game over and over again and expect the same people to come back. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So new IP has to be. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was a new IP, fantastic,
yeah,
right?
so good.
Days Gone was actually a good game. Not sure why they're
It
not
was a
making.
really good new IP and they killed it.
They killed. It was a fun game. It was a lot of fun. The zombies were different, right? The
Yeah.
horde type thing. and and then
It
they
had
don't
it
have.
had a hard it had a hard launch though. That one just didn't hit.
Yeah,
That was like another game that hit during a time where there was so much zombie stuff, and then everybody was like, "Oh, another zombie game." But it was actually like
right.
the best one to come out during the time.
I think I think Sony misstepped there and should have waited a month or two to
Yeah,
release that game. I think it'd have been big difference. But then after that, it's Spider-Man, Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon,
yeah.
and The Last of Us, Last of Us. And
All
then they
right.
a couple of Ratchet and Clank, which was a great game. Wasn't a console seller, but it was a good game. And then
Yeah, Ratchet and
Returnal.
Clank's a big one for them. Yeah, Returnal was big. That was new. So
I mean, it was new. That was a new IP again, but it was a smaller game. Where are the other games? Right? Where are the other? Let's talk about real quick. Talking about variety. What about that weird reveal by what's his name? The
oh,
guy who made Metal Gear Solid.
Koshima. Yeah, I heard that
Yeah,
was. I have no idea what that is.
people think it's because it's there's a game
I
called
know that Death
PL.
Stranding 2 is being made, so and
Yes,
that's a be exclusive.
it is exclusive, but do you ever see that stuff called like the video or the game that he
Oh, I know.
made?
Yeah, and that was all people
EL.
thought was Silent Hill, and then it was
Yes.
up, and then it was like the most downloaded demo of any game ever, and then they pulled the demo, and then people pirated the demo because everybody still wanted. Yeah, I know all about that.
Well, the door in the trailer of that game is the same door they're using for
I'm not
OD.
surprised. That's just what he does. This is just, dude, the whole thing is so weird, and then he combined it. He combined with
He got
what's his face?
uh, Peel Peel
Peel.
Peel.
Yeah, Peel. It's gonna be a horror game for sure. But
Yeah, that makes that see that's exciting to me. Like holy,
yeah.
I don't know what it is.
There. I'm going to
Um,
transition us back to our 2 up 2 real quick. Everybody just hang on. We're going to be right back in about 10 seconds. You'll see when you watch it. We'll be back in 3. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment so much. All right. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I feel you.
so I feel like there's. I mean, I feel like Sony has something up its sleeve. I mean, the one thing that really disappoints me is that they're supposed to make that Star Wars game,
Oh,
and it
they're
was
still
canceled.
coming.
No, it got canceled.
There's some sort of Star Wars game coming. Some sort of new game, but
I know,
nobody
but
knows what it is.
Sony had the rights to. I think it was called like something Knights or
Oh, I
I
have
got
no idea.
yeah. They were making a Star Wars game.
I don't know, dude.
Anyways,
I don't know,
so
dude. But I can tell you what. I am like so happy we're doing this again.
hey, can we talk about your tattoo? People didn't know you got a tattoo.
Nobody knows. Nobody on here even knows. But yeah, I did. I did. I got one over the break for my girls, and I love it. It looks so cool. But I now I haven't had it that long, but I've had it long enough that I forget about it now. I'm like, oh my god, what is that?
All right, man. Well, I mean, it was a
That
good,
was good. That was fun. That was fun. You know.
coming back pod. So let's talk about the last topic before we end. We have a couple more
Yeah.
minutes. What do you got? What do you
Yeah. So what am I
what's your
playing? What am I? I mean,
yeah,
I
what are
don't
you
need to
playing?
tell you. I'm
Yeah,
waiting. I'm in stasis until Suicide Squad Monday at 11 p.m. That's what I'm most excited about. So the next pod, you will definitely be hearing about that game. Oh yeah, but I mean, if you've made it this far, we are back on the schedule that I like, so that we can always make sure to bring you guys videos. So we will always be essentially like 1 week behind. Not that anybody cares, but
yeah. So
so it'll be
recently,
Suicide Squad for me.
yeah. So but have you finished the game what's the last in the last
I
2 months?
did. I did. I started going back and replaying things to close off things I had started and never finished. And so I beat Dragon's Dogma because I wanted to be ready for Dragon's Dogma 2. Incredible video game.
Yeah.
And I beat what is it I was just playing? Oh, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Oh wow, I haven't played that. Is it good?
No, it's goofy. I forgot that Andy Samberg is like a main voice in there.
It's goofy. So it's not
So
like is it like what does it play like?
it's Borderlands.
Just Borderlands?
It's Borderlands, but with fantasy. Like you have spells and stuff.
Uh,
It was fun. It's
so
old. That's an old game.
yeah. So what I played was I played Far Cry 6. I beat that. That
I
was
saw
fun.
that. It's
Good
not as good
game.
as the other ones. Like the main
Um,
bad guy isn't, you know,
it's
he's forgettable.
yeah. I will say that. So Far Cry in general has terrible AI, like the worst AI.
Oh, it really does.
Like I was so that game made me so mad. I would be like behind a truck or car, and these guys are sniping me with rifle with the pistol. Like these like
Yeah.
AI is insane.
It's why I couldn't finish Avatar because the AI it plays like Far Cry, and I was like, I can't do this.
I mean, it was a fun game. It was one of those. I like the Far Cry kind of like concepts. I beat
Yeah.
most of
Well, it was
them.
on Game Pass too, so
It was on Game Pass. What, you trying? You calling me cheap?
I
Huh?
am.
Huh?
I am. No, I'm just saying. You were like, you know
Um,
what? It's time to try. Like, if I was gonna play Far Cry 6, that would be the way to do it. But
yeah. I'm playing Resident Evil 2 on
oh,
Game
that's supposed
Pass.
to be really good.
It is fun. It's hard as hell. But it was fun. Pal World. I've been playing a
Pal
little bit of
World.
that. And then I bought. I had Valhalla on disc, right? And I hate putting the disc in, so now it's on Game Pass.
It's on
So I
Game
just play
Pass.
the. So I'm already like 60 hours into that game.
Yeah.
But I
What's your
picked it
hot
up
take?
and
What's your hot take then? As well.
my
So you
hot
got what you're
take.
playing. What's the hot take? What's the ending hot take? You got one?
My hot take is that um, free Palestine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, but my hot take is going to be. I think my hot take
There
is
goes the
that
podcast. I'm gonna get rated.
we're we're going to be no. I will say, I think the gaming world is about to change significantly in the next 5 years. I think that
Okay.
gaming is going to. It's already big business, but it's going to be a right now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I think in the next 5 years, you're gonna have games that are gonna make $1 trillion. Like I think Grand Theft Auto. That Grand Theft Auto
Oh
6 is
yeah,
going to
6.
be $1 trillion game.
I'm gonna have to talk to
I
you about
think
that
it's
in the
gonna.
next podcast. I want to talk to you about AI and games. I want to talk to you about if gaming is too big, like movies now, where you see a lot of rehashes because so much more is on the line because it's so expensive to make them. Like, can you even
Yeah.
take risk? And then also discuss something else I just had on my mind that I lost. But my hot take, as you already know, is Suicide Squad Justice League is going to be like the next live service phenomena.
And now there you go, folks. He just jinxed it. So it's probably going to be an Anthem type game where it's just going to crash and
Don't
burn.
Anthem.
Yeah, poor dude. I had so the hopes and
Dude,
dreams.
that's where I'm at with Suicide Squad. I mean, like, so probably gonna
EA
ruin
just
myself.
does not know how to make games, man. I'm sorry, EA. Somebody needs to buy you out and to
Yeah.
gut the leadership. Honestly, you have too many good IPs, and they're all
And then it was
trash.
about to be replaced too, and like in a better state. Like they were there and they canned it
Yeah, they gave it to a proper studio in Austin.
in
They're
Austin.
trying
Yeah,
to
and
fix
he was
it.
like, "If y'all would have seen what we could have done," and they just was like, "You know what? I know you've already spent 2 years trying to fix this. We're canning it. It's like we're literally
I,
about to release it."
and it felt the Mac. I think it was just the story, and then they oversold it, and then the
Oh
servers are
yeah.
trash.
Well, and then
I
it took
mean,
it took years for people to catch up on like what it actually takes to make a live service game. Like
yeah,
what it
no, I
actually
mean,
takes, which is the entire studio, all you do until you close the doors, until you
yep.
close the door on the game.
Or you make a separate, support studio that all they do is
Right.
that.
That's
I
just
mean,
that's
that's
it.
what I mean. You look at Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty has 6 studios
Yeah. Or you look
that
at
are work
Bungie. I mean,
on.
the only reason Destiny works is because that's just what Bungie does. Like
Yeah,
Destiny is Bungie's game. Like, and then they have small sets of groups that go to work on the other IPs, but the majority of the studio is on Destiny.
yeah. I
Matter
mean,
of fact, they're
like,
so terrified that they delayed the game to add a whole bunch of new features that we're all going to hear about in April. Because if Destiny goes under,
that's it.
Bungie goes under.
Well, and then Sony loses its shirt because
Oh, it
they just
loses.
spent
Yeah, they lose their ass on it.
a ton of money. I mean, so I know we're at the
Yeah.
time, but my big takeaway, honestly, is like you look at games that are really good that failed, and then that the studio was sold. You look at what's that? Square Enix sold off. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking now.
Oh, they
What's the
Crystal
Crystal
Dynamics
Dynamics, which they made
and
that
Montreal. or whatever it was that made Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardian of the Galaxy was a perfectly polished, good
It was
narrative
such a
game.
good game. Oh my god, it was so
And,
good.
and I don't know how Square Enix botched that game.
They
It
just
was
marketing.
marking was bad and just not. I don't know. I played the shit out of that game.
It was a
I
good
thought it
game.
was well done. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Dialogue was really funny, and so I think that's the other side is like you make a game, a new game, even with an IP, and you're not attached to a studio that has deep pockets, you might go
Oh,
under.
you're dead in the water if it doesn't work. So, but you know what,
Yeah.
dude? That's it for today, y'all. Thank you so much. As always, Freddie. I'm Brian. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow along. If you're on YouTube, feel free to comment. And if there's something else you want us to cover, if you made it this far and you're like, I really like this, I'd like to hear more about blank, by all means, type that in the comments below and I will put it in the next podcast.
Yeah. And look for us on Spotify and Apple Music and anything, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. We will be there.
All right,
Thanks,
buddy.
guys.
Till next time.
See ya. Peace.
Later.